Good morning, friends. So happy to see you this morning. So as you know, we've been on this incredible cancer beating journey and absolutely choosing out of cancer, absolutely knowing that I'm healed from cancer, and the only thing left to do is just deal with all the sloughing off. So for those of you out there that are looking for ways to deal with chronic pain, perhaps you have, fibromyalgia, perhaps you're suffering from autoimmune, any type of cancer, this is the video for you. So if you know of a friend, if you know someone who is struggling with one of these debilitating diseases, dis-eases, or disease meaning like not at ease, part of our bodies, this video is really about what is working and what is not working and what is going to turn things, from where they've been. I like to think of it as like we kind of, have been flatlining for a bit, and it's like, okay, the plane is taking off now. We're going to start rising out of this state. So for those of you that are ready for that or wanting that, if you know of someone who would really like to get better, for me, I have a lot of reasons to still be here. And I know you have loved ones that also have many reasons to be here, whether they know it or not. So there's much to be done, there's much to do, much to give, and I know that my mission is to continue sharing the journey as I go. So for those of you that are joining, please let me know where you're coming in from. If you're coming in on the replay, please type replay here in the chat. If you're coming in live, let me know where you're coming in from. I'd love to know how you're doing, what it is you're facing, what are some of the challenges you're dealing with, whether it be with a loved one or yourself, physically. We all have our own journey. So my message this morning really has how can we beat this thing? How can we get on the other side of it? How can we get from where we are to where we want to be, right? So we always kind of have this like lighted steps process. And my spirit is guiding me through this. And if you haven't watched the step 1, I highly recommend you go back through my feed here on Facebook and tap into the first step of beating cancer. Step 1 is powerful support to you in your journey of healing. Step 2 is a bit interesting. I would not have anticipated this to be the case, but my spirit will guide this cleansing process, this transmuting, if you will, of being, from where I've been to where I want to be, right, which is cancer-free. At this point, the goal is to be cancer-free on May 1st, and about 10 days ago, doctor said, there's no hope for you, why even bother to do surgery, cancer spread everywhere. So stage 4 breast cancer was diagnosed last year, and, actually, it was not stage 4 last year, it was stage 4 a few days ago. I still feel the effects of it in my body. There's a lot of pain to still work through, which I totally know what to do, and that's what step 1's all about. But step 2 is on a different plane. Step 2 has to do with making amends with myself and with those that I love. And I woke up this morning with a really profound and powerful experience of looking at all the places in my life where I feel unworthy. And I imagine the viewers of this video are going to know that we all get to walk this. We all get to feel unworthy on some level based on maybe past failures, maybe past scarcity situations, maybe past abandonment stories. Perhaps there was some failure in there. And these, these 4 kind of beasts, if you will, these things that come along in our life that make life so challenging if we start into the stories, right? If we buy into the I'm not enough story, how it just keeps perpetuating itself. This morning I recognized places in my history, and I imagine you feel and see the same for yourself, that there are places in your history where you felt that you were not enough because of somebody abandoning you. For me, I was many abandonment stories. One of them turning my dad in for molesting me, and then he went into prison, and then he never really came back. And so literally I was married 3 months before he even knew I was married. So he was really out of my life, and I had to really own where I created the abandonment story to be the reason why I wasn't enough, and why that has continued to perpetuate in my life and create more and more abandonment and more of people leaving that I've found to be very valuable and important to my life. So if you know or have someone, some abandonment stories, I recommend that you identify them, write them down, take a little time to articulate them to your mind. It's kind of like, it's an interesting journey, but you got to get your spirit talking to your brain, because you want to see it as there's a line here, right? So the line is choice. Above the line is human spirit. Below the line is human body. And in the first video, I talked about the body being kind of like this old tattered glove, right? But if you take that tattered glove and you recognize that your spirit has the capacity to train the glove to respond to you, to train that glove to do what the spirit dictates, not what the body dictates, right? So we have stories about, so I was abandoned, I'm not enough. And those are all coming from where? What do you recommend? Throw it in the chat here. What do you think? Do you think that's the human spirit talking that way, or human body talking that way? I'd love to know your thoughts. And again, I would love to hear from you. So please let me know what it is for you. What are some of the challenges you're facing, whether it be health challenges, emotional challenges. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Dina Beth, and my business is all about helping folks win more, right? And I got to win more so I can show you. But, winning more in health is the aspect of my life that I'm so excited about. Hello, Bev. So happy you're here. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. I see that name Bev, and I think of my foster mom. She was a wonderful lady. Anyway, welcome, welcome, those of you that are joining. And again, feel free to share this out. If you know someone that's struggling, just push that share button and let this thing fly over to whoever's inbox you see might be needing this advice, needing this important message, because it may just save their life or make it easier for them to live longer. For me, I don't anticipate living forever. I know I get to go home, but I still have a 5-year-old, and I get to keep well for her and make it to her 15th birthday, which is my goal right now. And of course I can make it to her 25th, and that would be magical and extraordinary, but I'm 100% committed to making it to her 15th at this point. So with that being said, keep in mind that there's a journey of getting rid of the abandonment stories. There's a journey in getting rid of the scarcity stories, right? So the scarcity stories has probably been the biggest player in my journey. Scarcity in my life has been a number one. I don't know if you recognize this in yourself. Hey, Lori, welcome, welcome. Number one, scarcity has been the number one story that has really gotten in the way of me feeling loved. For some reason, it's like no money, no love, no resource. I've had this story running for as long, and I dug it out this morning and looked at it like, oh my word. There's so many times when I was young, when my parents were going through the divorce, and my dad was a terrible alcoholic. Hey, Tracy, so happy to see you. Welcome. Good morning. If you've ever experienced any kind of, parental abuse or sexual abuse, or if you've ever struggled with, physical abuse or emotional abuse from anyone, well, I definitely had my share of that and more, and some more of that. Being a young person and watching my family fall apart when I, turned my dad in, and it's like they just spread out like marbles and we're never coming back. So never coming back like together, which it took us, 20 something years before we really came back together as a family, which was abandonment big time, right? And so I'm not enough keeps showing up in my story. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, that not enough. If you recognize the not enough story, send me an emoji that like portrays your not enough story, because we all have it. I mean, it probably has some, crap in there and such like that, but not to be rude, but do we get to say those things? Anyway, not enough is just part of the human experience, because it's the contrast of who we really are. Like my spirit is saying to me, I get to be in a body and in a mind and in a soul that, your being gets to house enoughness. And so step 2 of overcoming cancer is choosing to be enough and recognizing the not enough stories. So all of these have been so hidden from view. I mean, I've been so ashamed of who I was and what I went through and what was going on with my soul during those years when I was young and impressionable, that I don't know if you recognize this, but just I felt not enoughness all over the place, and to feel that not enough is shame. It's like, you know, Brene Brown's work is all about how to help us get over, to recognize that shame story, right? To recognize the blaming, to recognize the hiding and the guilt that holds us. Hello, Lisa. Welcome. So nice to have you here. So what is it about our fear stories, right? Our abandonment stories, our scarcity stories, our failure stories, our, you know, just history, you know, the stories we tell from our past that cause us to feel like we are not enough. And if you have those, I highly recommend that you recognize them, own them, and look at how they're dictating, right? So every time we feel afraid, we kind of revert back to the story, and it now dictates. Now it's taking the lead, right? Well, my spirit has made it clear to me that my brain, this fear-ridden brain that has all these not enough stories, does not get to dictate any longer. She doesn't get to have control. She doesn't get to have say. She doesn't get to move me from where I am, which is stage 4 breast cancer, to where I want to be, which is cancer-free. My spirit gets to live in a body that is not riddled in those stories any longer. So to identify the story is a big piece, right? We got to look at it. We got to see it. And so I'm looking at like grade school stories, right? When I was bullied, and grade school stories of when I was mistreated or disrespected or did something wrong, and I'm so ashamed of it, or I wasn't able to participate in some, you know, dance club, or, you know, because, you know, in my brain, they're scarcity stories, right? They're all in there. And I'm sure you have your own to share, and I'd love to hear them. I'd love for you to share them sometime. The point is, when we can identify these and take just a gander and just notice where those stories are playing into our current reality, and how we can change that up by just simply choosing to be enough. And the way that looked for me this morning was just really gathering up that little girl, that hurt little girl, and just like loving on her. Like, you're enough, sweetheart. You're more than enough. You don't need to have those things necessarily to be enough. You just need to own that the story that you created, sweetheart, this little person in me, that you needed those things to be enough, is the problem. And just recognizing that you're good, you're strong, you're capable, you're amazing. And yes, that was your experience, but look, what if it was the best thing that ever happened to you, because now you're more compassionate, right? Now you're more generous. Now you understand what it is to not kind of be the odd one out, or to not be included. Does that make sense? Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts. So if any of this resonates, makes sense, is supporting you in some way, adding value to your journey, I would love to hear your thoughts. So please tune in. Let me know how it is I can serve you more on this level. If you're looking for specifics, you're sure welcome to reach out and personal message me, and I'm more than happy to share the little steps in between that help guide you through this process of looking at where we are choosing the story of not enoughness, and how it's getting in the way of what we want most in life, which is healing and wholeness and love. And it's like we get to heal all the unloved parts of ourselves. Like really, really. I mean, all that stuff we hoped we could stuff away and forget and push away and try to pretend, and, you know, stuff that makes us feel ashamed, or the guilty, or, you know, unacceptable, or whatever it is that's in the way. We've got to be able to identify those pieces and let them be heard and seen. So that tattered little girl with messy hair, you know, that I mean, I had hair. It was, clear down my back. I would sit on my hair. It was so long, not anywhere near this. But when I was, you know, when I'm walking through that memory lane this morning, I was like, wow, that was a long time ago, 30-something years. So I'm sure that each and every one of you have your own story, your own journey that has perpetuated or not perpetuated the not enoughness. And the more we're willing to just own that we are enough, your spirit is more than enough, and this body is just housing her. So or him, you know, gals and guys, right? We're the golden geese gals and guys here that are working to get out the goldenness, pull out your golden, and golden comes from truly loving every single part and every portion, not just the parts that we like everybody to see, right? The parts that we wave a flag and say, look, I've got it all together, I'm all, you know, what is the wording I had from my mom? It was like, always disappointed in her because she wasn't meeting the expectations I had, right? She was falling short. Well, we have those same things for ourselves, and we get to let go of expectations. It's the only way to heal. So for those of you that are looking for the answer, how to cure, how to heal, how to get better, how to deal with chronic pain, start with the first video, move to this video, step 2, and let me know your results. I would love to know what you're finding. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not diagnosing anything here. I'm just telling you my own experience because I know from my spirit what is going to work, and she dictates today. She decides what I eat, what I drink. This is cactus water, highly recommended, by the way. Powerful stuff. I'm pretty much living on aloe vera right now, and avocados with Celtic salt, and whatever else my spirit tells me that is good for me. I've cleared my space of anything that might resemble, you know, being ill, because I'm well now. I'm on recovery, and I don't need to have any reminders of not being well. That doesn't mean I still don't do every single thing that I know to do to heal me, but I'm on the healing end, right? Taken off. We've been like flatlining, and now we're just like, oh, plane's time to take off now. So it's integrating. So anytime I feel pain in my body, it's, oh, we're integrating. So a powerful concept to learn to take your body in hand, let your brain be dictated by your spirit and no longer by your body, because this body is so earthy. My spirit chooses not to hang out here anymore if this doesn't change up. So I hope this has added tremendous value to your day. If there's anything more I can offer you, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. Always happy to connect. Highly encourage you to spend a little bit of time reflecting on these matters, getting clear about what your abandonment stories are, what your scarcity stories are, what your failure stories are, what your rejection stories are. Those 4 things, you know, the abandonment, rejection, failure, and scarcity are the main stories that interrupt the things we want most in life, because we decide, because those things happen to us, that we are not enough, and that not enoughness is massively impacting our ability to have the life that we want. It gets in the way of our love life. It gets in the way of our business. It gets in the way of the way we treat our children, the way we treat ourselves, the way our health plays out. It gets in the way of everything. So choosing to be enough, choosing to be more than enough, choosing to own the power of your own spirit is so profound in how it can help us come from where we've been to where we want to be. So I hope this has found you tremendously supported today and benefited by this message, and I send you with my very, very best, my love. And if there's anything I can do to make your day better, reach out, let me know how I can serve you in this capacity of excuse me. Learning to love yourself is profound and powerful in the way that it will heal. So looking forward to hearing your healing journey and what it is that you're doing in your process to get better. Let's talk soon. Have a beautiful day. Take care. Bye-bye.